Welcome back to Get Up, presented by Wendy's.
What can you attribute your success to?
Wine. Yeah, you know what they say about great wine, right? Ages well. There you go.
LeBron James is locked in. LBJ.
My quick twitch, my mind is sharp, my body is good. I don't know what's going on. Maybe the wine I'm drinking. Keep drinking some more if I'm gonna keep doing this.
And if anyone would know, he would know. Like a fine wine, he is getting better with age. I would argue, based upon the totality of the circumstances, this is as good a year as we've seen from LeBron James, at least in a decade. Show me what you're seeing.
Maybe the best. We having some Syrah, some Camus. I think he's on Camus. But let's how this play develops. LeBron James at the ball. And as you see this play, you're going to see one JaVale McGee. Then you're going to see Zubac here in transition. Now, as he's in transition, bigs have a tendency to go all the way back to the box, okay? They want to protect the rim, especially against a guy like LeBron James. As LeBron James goes, watch how the Clippers get back defensively. They get back. This is what you want to do if you're the Clippers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Essentially drawing a wall around LeBron James, now allowing him to get into this gap. LeBron recognizes it, takes his time. And one of the things to pay attention to here, watch JaVale McGee. Great job, JaVale McGee, the Mark Sanchez booty screen, okay? As he uses the Mark Sanchez booty screen, you're gonna see a shooter in the corner, Danny Green. Marcus Morris cannot leave Danny Green because he's a shooter. Zubac right here, middleman, but this allows LeBron James to turn this corner. Now, Greeny, as he turns this corner, and Zubac has to stay with JaVale McGee, watch what LeBron James does. Now, he's gonna dip this shoulder, right here, this left shoulder into the right shoulder of Paul George. This is 260 pounds versus 220 pounds. Watch him knock him off his rail. Boom, get off me. Oh. Mouse in the house. Attacking the paint. Once again, in transition. LeBron James probing. Doesn't see anything there. Sets a ball screen. Avery Bradley comes off this ball screen here. Okay? You're gonna see LeBron James roll. As he rolls, two defenders. One here, one there. Going to stop him. LeBron James rolls. Here's what to pay attention to. As the ball goes up, look at this. Oh, this is so special. The ball's not in his hands yet, Greeny.
Yeah.
He sees Kawhi Leonard coming over from the weak side. He sees Anthony Davis. The ball's not in his hands yet, and he's about to make the play. Watch the play he makes. What a pass. With the ball not even being in his hands yet. Last play, Greeny. Here's one of the best. He goes through, Danny Green goes through. Now look at this. I want you to pay attention here. You have one player, Laker player, poor weak side, right? Look at everybody. Who do they have vision on? I do a different color for you.
Yeah.
Who do they have vision on?
Yeah.
Vision on LeBron. Vision on LeBron. 5 players, 1 against 5. 1 against 5 here, guys. Watch what LeBron James is able to do. Anthony Davis down at the bottom of your screen here. Anthony Davis just looming. Paul George actually on Anthony Davis. LeBron James under control. Look how he sneaks this little pass in right here to AD. But these are 1, 2, 3 players around LeBron James. Sneaks in the pass, boom. He makes the most incredible plays. And I understand Anthony Davis is a top 5 player, but the way that LeBron James delivers the ball on a platter for him, filet mignon, AD should be taking out.
Here's what I like about it is that he has forever been the best playmaker in the NBA, and he's been somewhat hesitant to play that way, and he now is buying into playing that way.
It starts the argument about, is he the greatest point guard to ever play the game? I know Magic Johnson is in that category, but LeBron James, his natural position is point guard. And that's how great of a player he is.
I've been saying that for years.
I know.
And he's doing it now, and it'll prolong his career also. LeBron James spectacular. We'll talk more about it. Jalen will be here shortly. This week, our NBA Wednesday doubleheader will tip off in Dallas with Luka and the Mavs hosting Jokic and the Nuggets at 8 Eastern. Then Zion and the Pelicans take on the Kings. Both teams desperate for wins to try and catch Memphis for the 8th spot. Our coverage begins with Stephen A's pregame Sports Center at 7 on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Tua Tagovailoa has been medically cleared for all football activity. They will begin to ease him back into football activity. He's been throwing from a seated position primarily. Now will begin to drop back, roll out, do a little bit more from that standpoint, which is very exciting for him. He's training in Nashville, heading into his pro day, which will be coming up on April 9th. Diana, many have talked about the Redskins with that number 2 pick because we all assume that Joe Burrow's going number 1 overall to the Bengals. Do you think, in your knowledge from the Redskins, that they would be interested in taking Tua number 2, especially now knowing that he has this clean bill of health?
The conversation has certainly come up, but from what I've been able to gather, they're all in on going defense here and with Chase Young as I think most of us have assumed, and we've seen reports out there. It's a year ago, and I was sitting at this desk with you guys talking about how that there was a split in this organization about going quarterback versus going defense, the football operations wanting to go defense, and the owner, Dan Snyder, wanting to go Dwayne Haskins. Of course, in the end, the owner's going to win. And I followed up with Washington recently about Dan Snyder's involvement in this draft process, because that's always going to be a gigantic factor when you talk Redskins. And I was told he's giving Ron Rivera the keys. This is going to be Ron Rivera's decision and his call to make that decision at who he decides to draft. But in terms of their desire to build up Dwayne Haskins, that's the plan. They want to stick with him.
All right, so let's start now with the person who has seen more of Dwayne Haskins than probably anybody, Ohio State, Columbus, your background there and everything else. Do you believe Haskins will turn into a top-flight NFL quarterback?
I'm going to show you a little bit later some of the things he can do, but absolutely, I believe with what you saw last season, it started off rocky. Heck, his coach got fired in the middle of the year, but the things he was able to do, the second-level throws, and the fact that, if you look at over his last 3 games, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, which means that he's pushing the ball down the field, he's making those plays, but he's beginning to limit the downside. And so if you can continue to grow with that and work with that, and then maybe you ultimately get him a left tackle, I think Trent Williams is on his way out, but if you can protect the man, it'll help him immensely.
And that Trent Williams situation is something you got to keep an eye on. Yes, Washington is willing to deal Trent for the right price. What's going to happen if they don't come to an agreement on that? And that's something that we'll be seeing soon, but a lot of teams interested in Trent.
Well, Acho, I want to introduce door number 3 to this. If you're making the decisions in Washington, you can A, draft Tua number 2, B, draft Chase Young number 2, 3, trade that pick if someone is willing to give you a significant haul for the rights to draft Tua. Which are you doing?
You ignore door number 1 and door number 2, and you walk direct. You sprint through door number 2. You ignore 1 and 3. You go for Chase Young. Chase Young, he's as close to a surefire pick as there can be, because remember, when you're talking about quarterbacks, there's so many variables. Does he fit into the right system? His receivers, are they playmakers? His offensive line, what's that look like? When you're talking about an edge rusher, a guy like Chase Young from Ohio State, there's only one variable. The man in the shoulder pads, which is Chase Young. Dominant prospect, take the surefire pick and keep moving forward.
So, Diana, here's another thing that I'm wondering about. Ron Rivera came out and said, they're going to test all of this out. They're going to speak to Tua. They're going to speak to Joe Burrow. Is there enough from what he's done that is building the confidence of Haskins that you're saying they're trying to build?
One of the things that made Ron Rivera such a great candidate for Washington to hire him was his belief in Dwayne Haskins. That was part of selling to get that job to Dan Snyder. Obviously, Dan Snyder, we know, went after Ron Rivera, but that was all part of this process. So I think Coach sort of keeping it to the coach talk of we're going to take a look at all of our options, we're going to meet with you, we're going to talk. They're just doing all of that right now, knowing exactly who they're going to be doing.
I still think they could be trying to get somebody to come up and try to trade and get something from that, too.
I love Chase Young. I love him immensely because I think he's a generational type of player. However, if someone's going to back up the truck and say, here's 3 number 1s, we want to get Tua, then you ultimately have to look at door number 3 as a viable option.
Agreed.
It's all about the driving price. Much more to come on Get Up. Rumors swirling that the Titans are interested in Tom Brady, while one of their players is very enthusiastic about that possibility.